And we're coming up over the Judge Jolly Bridge, and in a moment at the crest of the bridge here we're going to see the skyline of Marco Island. The tall condos to your right and straight ahead are on the beach. Beautiful flag there. To the right is the Marco Island Marina, the yacht club. It's one of 3 marinas, if I'm not mistaken. Marco Island is approximately a 4x6 barrier island, part of the 10,000 islands here in Florida, and approximately 18,000 full-time residents. Winter months, what they call season here, the winter months, it can get to be as many as anywhere from 35 to 45,000 people, depending on who you listen to. And there's a Starbucks and some shopping on both the left and the right side of the street here. And this is one of the 2 Publix on the island, a supermarket. This is a smaller one. They just on the other end of the island, just tore down what was called the big Publix and made it even bigger. So we're going to make a right here on Bold Eagle, and we'll go down to Rose Marina. Just take a look at the traffic, what's going on. This is a Saturday, so there are a few more people out with their boats probably today. Another shopping center, Joey D's Pizza. Paradise Seafood all the way on the end there. Good place. Pick up some nice fresh fish. This is Walker's Marina on the right. This is a showroom and a service center. They do have a water marina over on the Isle, down on Goodland, which is not far from here. So you can leave your boat there in storage and all of that. And they'll have it out ready for you when you want to go out. These apartment here, Angler's Cove on the right there. One of the first buildings put on the island, within reason. A lot of the people who worked on the island were in those, as well as some other condos that are right on Collier Boulevard. Those are 1 or 2 bedroom units. I think there's a couple that are 2 bedrooms with a studio or something. And that's Rose Marina. Let's go down this street, maybe get a little better view. Beautiful homes here. I got to Marco Island in 1997. Today it's June of 2023. This home right in front of us is probably the original home on that property. And this one here in front of us now, the white one, they probably had a home there and tore it down. Same with this one as well. We're seeing a lot of that now, that the homes are being torn down. And you can see they're building right out to the lot line, where the older homes, like this one over here, is smaller and all. They're not as well. McMansions. That's the term. McMansions. This building, this tall building, the gray one, the 5-story building there, that's car condos. So people come to Marco Island. They want to have their nice car down here. They don't want to transport it back and forth. When they first came on the market, you'd buy a garage space for approximately $50,000. It's somewhat air conditioned. They'll run the car, drive it around the block once in a while and all that, wash it for you. But yeah, so a lot of folks keep their their Mercedes there or whatever. But car condo, more and more popular now in the area, but in the very beginning when I first got here, that was built about 5 years after. It was kind of new to me, but it works. So now we're going to go down Goldenrod, which this is in the center of the island. So the majority of these homes, I mean, there might be 1 or 2 that aren't, they all have water in a canal in the backyard. And we'll just go through here, take a peek. You can see the newer ones and the old ones and all. I mean, the old homes, the older homes. We're facing west, so that tall building in the end there, that's the trade winds, and that is looking out on the beach. construction on the one on the right, one on the left. This is a nice neighborhood. It's convenient to the beach, convenient to the Publix. Very nice neighborhood. This gentleman in front of us has I don't know which house, the one on the left or the one on the right, owns this lot in the middle. But they put themselves a little cheeky bar out there, a little cheeky hut. And they didn't want any neighbors, evidently. Somebody wanted to keep them a little farther apart. Just to give you an idea, that vacant lot today is in the $1 million, easily in the $1 million range. So somebody has enough money that they decided they didn't want any neighbors. Collier County, the sheriff, like in many places, they bring their cars home. So it's nice to have a cop living in the neighborhood, although since we are an island, there's only 2 bridges on and off. Crime is, I wouldn't say it's non-existent, but it's mostly petty stuff. There's a new construction. These 3 are all new. This and the one we're coming up to. All these have had homes on them, been torn down on. So behind either one of these houses, on either side of the street, there's a canal, and most everybody has a dock with their boat out back. This is what we call water indirect. So you're limited to the size of the boat you can have, only because you do have to get out under a bridge. Water direct, there are no bridges. So you can have a bigger boat, whatever your dock can handle. There are limits to the size of the dock, of course. But water direct is also, since it's on the edge of the island, where there are no bridges, you can get out to the Gulf faster. Here, if you put your boat in the water, it's going to take you a little while to get out to the Gulf. You're going to have to do idle speed for a while. This one home here on the right with the red roof, orange roof maybe, I'm a little colorblind. I sold this home years and years ago, back in 2005 I think it was, when things were really going. That was $1.8 million back then. I can only guess without, I remember the home very well. It's probably closer to the 3s back right now. But it's not on the market. It's not for sale. All right, so that's one neighborhood. Now we're going to go over to the other side of the island. So these homes are built on lots that are 0.20 of an acre, 80 by 110 approximately size lots. But now we'll go over and look at some on the other side of the island that are a little bit bigger. When I first moved here to Marco, these roads, especially that I moved from New York where we had some tough winters, which was one of the reasons why we started looking to move. But the roads here were so smooth and they were like glass. But a couple of years ago, well now it's 10, 12 years, eventually the whole island was put on sewer. Before that it was all on septic. And these bumps in the road that we're feeling now are still the roads settling from that work that's been done. Some of these streets have been dug up more than once, resurfaced again, and the pipes are still not, or else they just did a lousy job. I don't know which. But anyway, normally it's not so bad, and really it's nothing to complain about, because I'm from New York and the roads can be a mess. So right there on the right, and that mustard colored building is part of the hospital emergency center. We don't really have a hospital here on Marco, but you do have an urgent care center where something happens. Okay, so now we are entering what it's called the estates area of Marco Island. So the lots are bigger, therefore bigger homes, and these are all water direct properties. So again, they have the bigger toys on their dock. So we're here, it's as I said at the beginning, it's June of 2023. Most of all of these homes are vacant at the moment. The big majority of these folks are back up in New York or Michigan or Jersey. These are all their second homes for the most part. And we're going to go down Kexambas Court here, little bridge to another little island here. It's just residential, and there's probably 24 homes at the most on it. These are older. This one here on the right, that's an older home. Some of the newer ones are gargantuan. Come down to the end here. really can't tell you which ones because of my MLS rules, but one of the homes you just saw is on the market for approximately $12 million. I'll tell you a funny story. There's a nice vacant lot for sale. Even if I knew, I couldn't tell you. So, what I can tell you is I was sitting in an office meeting many, many years ago, and as you can see, a lot of these are newer homes. They weren't here then, and I'm talking back in the 1980s, and this is all vacant, most likely. And one of the gals in the office had just listed a lot here, and one of the other women in the office just about died because she had sold a lot for $25,000 back in the 80s, and she was just thrilled to have gotten $25,000 for it. You know, first of all, $25,000 was a little more money back then than it is today, but we didn't have the tourism here. And I think the woman back then was putting it on the market for $300,000. Now you couldn't touch one of these. I would say approximately $2 million if you could get something. So, but things go up, but of course, you know, she took the 25 and reinvested in something else, so she was happy. She was okay. All right, well, I want to take you down one other street and show you some other homes. Again, they're magnificent homes, and they're just down the street here. When I first moved to the island, most of this was vacant land back here. These homes are non-existent, and I think you can get an idea of just how huge they are. I wouldn't want to have to clean it, much less pay to buy furniture to put in it. God bless those that can. Beautiful, beautiful home. It's going to be gorgeous. And the view is going to be fantastic. There used to be a house here. It was obviously torn down. These beautiful homes. So here we are. This is the south end of the island. And the reason these houses, my house faced the south. And in Florida, you know, everyone says, oh, I want to face the west. I want to look at the sunset. That's not necessarily the case, because when you're facing the west and the sun gets over the roof at noon, it starts coming in your windows on the west side of the house, and it doesn't stop until 8 o'clock at night in the summertime. It just makes the house very hot, and of course the air conditioning is running. Look at this older home that's been here forever. When I lived here, I used to walk through here, and I always thought they would be selling that any day now, but somebody built it and they're enjoying it still. So this home right here I had on the market. They put a new roof on after Ian, but I didn't sell it. I had it on the market. But going back to the lots on the sun. If you think the sun goes from east to west, obviously, but if your pool is in the south and you have your front door facing the street and the pool is in the back, it gets the sun all day long as it crosses over from east to west, and therefore your pool is always in the sunshine, but the sunshine is not coming in your windows, and the winter sun is higher, so even though it's going across the top, it doesn't come into windows. The summer sun, excuse me, I have that backwards. Summer sun is higher in the sky, and you want that because you don't want the sun coming in your windows here. And in the winter time, when you in theory you don't mind, not that we're that cold down here in the winter, it could come in and help heat up the house. You do just need to blow the shades. Not a whole lot of air conditioning in the summertime. A couple of good days here and there, but for the most part, everybody opens the doors, the windows, gets playing. I hope that made sense. If not, drop me a note in the comments and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. All right, folks. Well, that's our tour of a little bit of Marco Island. We went through one area, and this was the estates area. Plenty of more homes to see. I'll be doing this again, and what I'll do is I'll bring a still camera with me and take some other photos and incorporate them in right into the tour as well. Thanks very much. You have yourselves a great day. If I can be of any help, please drop a note down below. Thank you. Bye.